Hey guys, all right, I'm late and we've got a lot of stuff going on. I need to, let me log in here. Apologize for being so late. Let me turn my machine on here. I don't know why it's not coming on, but as you guys can tell, I'm downstairs this week. I am not in my normal spot, and for some reason I cannot get anything to work in here. Here we go. So my apologies for being late. I don't know if maybe my mouse is dead. Could be what it is. There we go. I'm trying to log in as we always do to look at you guys' comments. Again, I apologize. I'm very, very late. Have some really cool stuff to go over with you guys, though. All right, here we go. Where is YouTube? Has changed everything up. I mean, it's hard for me to find almost anything now. Let's see, dashboard. Gosh, just show me the freaking channel. That's all I want to see. Again, guys, I apologize for being late. Those of you that are coming in the room, I see you guys piling into the room, and I am totally unprepared. Here we go, your channel. Let's see if I can find this now. Here we go. Got my volume down. Here we go, perfect. All right, guys, welcome. Let me look at your comments real quick. Let me give some shout outs to see, Green Soldier, Richard Portella, Matthew Turner, Big Mo, Glenn Betts, James Pellerin, Ryan Westall, Dragon DJ, Liberty for All, Jonathan Borley, Mike C, Kathleen Music Lover, Joey's Aussie Ordnance, Todd Reed, Mr. F&H, Adam Bird, Second Amendment Love, let's see, Paris Grimes, Hugh Jasper, Adam Bird, I got that. Let's see, Wickfire 9, Charles Harrison, Project 704 Media, Sarasota Shaners, Logan Michaels. Dude, let's try to get started, okay? A lot of stuff to go over. Again, sorry for being late. I had I guess you could say a technical mishap. Even the angle is bad today because I don't have my my tripod or anything, so I've got all of this in the wrong area. As luck would have it, this morning I broke my foot. I run in the mornings about a mile every morning. I know that's not a ton, but it's enough to keep the belly off if I can at least help it. Plus, major part of self-defense is trying to be at a point where the older you get, especially, at least you're prepared to where you can handle things. And I feel like running kind of keeps me in a halfway shape. I'm no runner by any stretch, so please do not get the impression that I'm one of these kind of guys that, puts the headband on and all that. I wear a Glock t-shirt or a John Browning t-shirt and a pair of jogging shorts with tennis shoes. But anyway, I was running this morning in my neighborhood, that same neighborhood that I run in all the time. And it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, and this dog comes running out at me that's not, I don't think, from my neighborhood. I've never seen the dog before. I mean, I've seen and been chased by a lot of the dogs in my neighborhood, and I don't think this is one of them. And years ago, when I was in college, I actually used to read electric meters and water meters. So I know how to take care of dogs. And this dog runs at me, and of course I stomp my foot and yell at it, and it goes away. Long story short, it comes around, and I actually stopped running because it wouldn't bother me while I was walking. So I walked a little ways down, and then when I started jogging again, I could hear, all of a sudden I could hear like its toenails clicking on the street, and it was at a full sprint behind me, coming at me. So I had two things to defend myself with. One was my gun that was on my waistband. I didn't feel like shooting in the middle of the street in my neighborhood at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I chose to punt this dog as hard as I could. And the timing could not have been any better because I reared back, and whenever I connected with this dog, I'm guessing he's feeling it worse than I am right now, because I actually was able to finish running my mile after that. My foot didn't hurt me at all. But man, as the day went on, it finally got to the point where about 10 or 11 o'clock, I was having trouble walking. I was like, something's not right. You know, this is more than just a sprain or something like that. So I went to the doctor, and sure enough, I fractured one of the bones on the side of my foot, on the top of my foot. So I bought a cane. I've always wanted to walk with a cane, so I have a cane now. But I'm not going to use crutches. Doctor prescribed me crutches. I'm like, nah, I got a cane. I'm good. So anyway, it took me a few weeks to get this whole thing ironed out. So anyway, it was an interesting morning. I was like, I've often thought, honestly, guys, I've thought if I was running and a dog attacked me, I'm like, you know, if I feel like it or feel like I'm in any kind of danger, I'm just going to shoot him. But honestly, the thought never really crossed my mind to shoot the dog, because granted, this was it was a mutt dog. It was about a mid-sized dog. It wasn't like a German Shepherd, Doberman Pinscher, but it wasn't like a Chihuahua or anything like that either. But I mean, it was very aggressive. I think something was wrong with it. And you know what? It never barked. That was what was weird. The dog never barked at me. I mean, if I wouldn't have seen it coming at me, or if I'd have had headphones in, it would have mauled me, because I only heard it coming from behind, because it was at a full sprint in the street. Anyway, very weird, very strange morning, unusual morning. Oh man. So anyway, I'm here to talk about guns, right? If you got them, drink them. Man, look, I started last week. I just, every now and then I'll get brave. I tried the Especial Modella. It's a different Modella. It's not the same everyday Modella that you have. I think it comes in a blue box. It's a good beer. It's a very good beer. If you hadn't tried one, try it. Very, very good beer. I have some guns to show you guys. Which by the way, we do have, those of you that are here know, but we do have a tropical storm bearing down on us right now. We're not evacuating. I'm good to go. I got too much stuff here to be evacuating and leaving it behind for looters to finally have an opportunity to go after. So I'm staying here. I got the brand spanking new Sig Sauer P365 XL. This is the brand new longer slide P365. If you'll remember, the last P365 was probably about that long. And now they've added, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, whatever, to it, which is, from a concealable standpoint, that's great, because this part I can conceal. You know, it's this part right here that I see everybody buying a smaller gun, then they add these massive extensions to it. I'm like, well, you just defeated the whole purpose of buying the concealable weapon, because you just added the part that's hard to conceal, which is the grip. But anyway, they put this out. I gotta say, this comes with a 12 plus one. But what I like about this is I have decent sized hands, and if I'm going to shoot this thing, the smaller one, I just had enough room to where if I put my thumbs up front to shoot this thing, that my finger was right rear of the muzzle, and kind of made me conscious of that. Like when I push forward, I would feel like my left thumb here was sometimes a little bit too far out front. I don't feel like I need that slide to make a good shot, but I do feel like I've got more real estate, that if I push out and I'm a little sloppy when I do it, I feel like I've got room to do it. I do like that. I like the way it feels. In theory, I should get a more accurate shot. In theory, and less muzzle rise, because it's not gonna have the muzzle flip, that the smaller version, that little bit extra mass on top, that should make a difference. And of course, if you want to go ahead and make it unconcealable, they do have the 15+1. So it makes it a much bigger gun, period. So I think they did a really sloppy job, though. I got to tell you, man, look at the magazine. Look at that gap. Can you see that gap? I'll show it in my video. There it is. I'll show it when I do a video. That, to me, that's a horrendous gap. I mean, it doesn't change anything. You don't pinch your hand or anything. To me, that's kind of shoddy engineering, though. And I mean, I like SIGs for what they do. I think they do a really good job. But to me, you know, the gaps here are all good on the back. But man, that gap on the front, that looks terrible. So anyway, other than that, pretty cool little gun. I always like my other P365 anyway. So, but yeah, it just looks kind of awkward when you put the regular size magazine in. It's got a different look to it. You know, the longer slide out front. Very cool little gun. I'm excited about this one. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be a big hit for SIG, which their P365 already is. I mean, that their whole magazine technology, how they made those bigger magazines, or more higher capacity magazines to be able to carry more rounds, that's huge, man. That is huge. Their engineers really knocked that one out of the park. Let me show you something that's kind of cool. I got this from for a training, for training reasons, and I'm very excited about this. Some of you guys may or may not, but it's pretty cool. This is a Gen 3 Glock cutaway. I'll be doing some instructional videos and some how-to and how it works videos with this thing. But this is a fully functional Glock that has all the cutaway parts from Glock. Glock did this. I have an AR-15 like this that Wind and Weaponry did for me. But this one here is by Glock themselves. They did this and they sold this. This thing actually sells for more than you would pay for the actual gun. Because of course they did some things with it. I mean, the cutaways and all that. Shows you the cutaway, the metal inside the magazine. But I mean, if you were to try to fire this thing, everything works the way it's supposed to. You know, everything does. So, I mean, if you can look and see, look here. It's pretty neat. You can watch everything in this thing. You can watch here, your striker. It's pretty neat, man. It's really neat. You can watch the hammer move and all that good stuff. So this is going to be kind of cool. In theory, you could shoot an actual round through it, but as you can see, the barrel is also cut right inside there. That's the barrel that you're looking at right there inside my finger. So yeah, it's not going to fight. It'll go bang, and it'll probably make a really smoky mess in your face. But anyway, that's kind of cool. This other gun, for no particular reason other than cool factor, I'm very excited about this one. Again, from a cool factor standpoint, this is my brand new Faxon Patriot. This is essentially a polymer 80 lower with aftermarket Glock slide, aftermarket Glock barrel, and aftermarket Glock trigger. Oh, here it is. And it takes Glock magazines. So yeah, this thing is nice. If you like Gucci Glocks, this is a good one. They do some really cool stuff with these. The trigger is nice and crisp. I mean, I love the break of that trigger. It probably still breaks at about 4, maybe 5, but it feels good. You know what I mean? It's got a nice wall that it hits, and you know that it's about to break. You got that take up. Let me show you. You get your take up right here, and then it hits that wall, and you got a little bit of sponginess, and then it breaks. So I like it. A predictable trigger, in my opinion, is always a good thing, and you can't really beat the awesome slide cuts. I mean, look at the cuts on the slide, how decked out that thing is. It just looks good. I mean, like I said, from a cool factor standpoint, this thing's off the charts. The stippling looks good on the polymer 40 lower. Really, really high cuts right here under the trigger guard. It's got, you know, fiber optic sights on it. It's got the shelf rear sight so that you can cock it without your second hand. It's got American flag on top of it. That's kind of cool too. Yeah, this thing is nice, man. It's really done nicely. I know it's just basically a Gucci Glock built on a polymer 80 frame, but it's still nice. So yeah, I'll be carrying that one, trying it out. I'm carrying right now my Sig Sauer P320 X compact. I always like to carry these guns before I do my full-blown video reviews on them. So I'll probably wait a little while before I do that Faxon review. But yeah, I mean, cool guns. Today was a good gun day. You leave I mean, I know the Glock's not technically an actual gun, even though I still had to fill it out like it was a regular gun. It's serialized and everything. But it's a good gun day. When you walk away from a gun store with 3 guns in your hand, it's pretty cool. So anyway, guys, let's see. It's 7:25. I was already late getting in here. Not a ton of gun news to go over, to be honest with you guys. It's been a slow gun news week. I did see where there are some, was it 1636 some issues with House Bill 1636 with some states that have it, that have caused some grief with some people, some gun owners out there. I'll go more into that later on. I got some videos I'm hoping to put together this week. Those of you that might be in Louisiana, I know some of you on here actually are from Louisiana. Just want to go over some tips real quick. These are my tips. These aren't official tips or anything like that. If you are evacuating, which to me, my opinion, I don't want you or your family to get any kind of danger, but I don't think it's necessary. We're not going to have hurricane force winds inland where we are. But if you do evacuate, to me, I think it's important to make sure you're armed. Do not forget that. I think most of us as gun owners will never forget that. I mean, if we're leaving, that's usually one of the things that's front and center in our minds, is that we need to make sure we have protection, because you never know what you come back to. You never know where you go, what kind of neighborhood you wind up in. You know, you stay in a hotel somewhere that's in a horrible neighborhood. A lot of hotels just happen to be. So there's things that we got to account for. But I think it's always a good idea to bring something that, number one, if you have plenty of ammo. I don't think we always have to plan for Armageddon. So I don't think you have to always plan for whatever ammo is going to be available there. Like if you run out of ammo, I don't think you always have to think, like, in other words, if you're stockpiling a ton of 45 ACP, well, if you've got 2,000 rounds of 45 ACP, bring a 45 with you. You know what I mean? That's how much ammo you have. If you are running out of 2,000 rounds of ammo that quickly, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you're probably not prepared for it if you've already gone through 2,000 rounds of ammo. So I don't think you have to plan for, okay, if it's truly Armageddon and the end of the world, what's the most popular round? I need to bring that gun. Bring whatever round you have that you have in abundance. That's what I suggest. And I always think it's good. A couple of things. I think you bring AR-15s. I'll bring one, but I usually won't carry one or whatever. I'm down here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we're neighboring with Texas, so we're open carry states. But I will bring a handgun and put it on my side, of course. But I always think it's a really good idea just to send a message. I'll bring a shotgun, whether it's in a sling and it's slung over my back or whatever, because to me it looks less threatening unless you run up to somebody holding it like this. But it just looks like I'm prepared, but I'm not threatening you. And to me, it sends a long distance message that somebody knows this guy's armed. I'm not trying to mess with this guy. So I always like that. I do have one particular shotgun that I keep a sling on. It's a Benelli. We've talked about it before. I don't know if it's the M3 or the M4. It's the one that you can actually pump, or it's semi-automatic. I keep a black sling on that one. And that's one that if I ever have any kind of a storm issue or I'm getting on the road during a storm, I always bring that one. It's ready, it's loaded. I bring several boxes of shells with me. And if I have to get out of my vehicle, I sling it over my shoulder. I've had to actually do that one time. So I'll just walk around with it, and it's non-threatening. You know what I mean? It's slung over my shoulder behind me, but it's proof that I'm prepared. But at the same time, this is not a guy to mess with. And nobody's even ever given me an ugly look. And I'm not saying that to try to be intimidating to people, but we all know that when we have storms like this, don't think that there's not people plotting right now to loot places, to take advantage of people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time. That sends a message. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to send those messages, send a visual in times like this. And I don't have any problem sending those messages. Again, it's different. Like if you have a handgun, sometimes you got to really show that you're open carrying and really show it off and turn. Look, sling a shotgun over your shoulder with a sling on and just walk around and you're good to go. Cops don't mess with you. The military won't mess with you, and civilians very rarely even talk to you. But anyway, I mean, that's just my tip. Bring what you have plenty of ammo. Don't worry about the ammo that the world has, because this is most likely, odds are, not the end of the world. So bring what you have. Like in my case, I think because of a lot of the videos that I'm filming right now, I have a ton of 9mm. I'd probably grab one of my cases of 9mm, probably 2 cases of them. Bring about 2,000 rounds of 9mm and probably 2 or 3 different 9mm, including, I would bring one of my 9mm pistol carbines and a 12-gauge shotgun. That's all I would take. So anyway, but yeah, in this case, I'm not leaving. So anybody that's from here that might be thinking I'm leaving, I'll be here. So not a good idea to swing by. Weather's not even bad. The freaking sun's out right now, and everybody's talking about hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings and all that. It's funny how we can overreact to stuff like that. It's just silly. But anyway, let's see. I'm trying to read your comments, and it's on this computer. They're way small. Having a really hard time. Even my glasses on. Let's see. Yeah, Ty J says natural disasters are the worst for crime. They are, man, and it's a shame. I actually found that probably the worst that we ever dealt with. I've been through 3 hurricanes. One of them was Hurricane Rita. We very, very briefly evacuated to North Louisiana. The hurricane came through here and devastated our city, and we came back the next morning. And that was a rough one. Looting was going on all over the place. That thug element was breaking into drugstores, breaking into homes. We had martial law down here. Then Ike and Gustav came through here. Those were 2 different hurricanes, and we stayed for those. We made it very clear, in situations like that, you make it very clear that you're armed. I stayed in my neighborhood, and I would actually walk outside during the day when it wasn't raining and just kind of walk down the neighborhood. Same thing. Open carrying a pistol on my side, carrying a shotgun in my hand or slung over my shoulder, just walking the neighborhood, making sure all my neighbors' houses were good to go. Cops would drive by and they'd be like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? I mean, they know. I mean, or a couple of them would pull over. "Hey, man, what's going on? You live here?" I'm like, "Yep, live right there." And a cool thing was once you made those contacts with those guys, then they would keep coming back and they would check on you. "Hey, man, everything's still okay?" I fed a couple of cops one night. So I mean, it's cool because it does bring out the worst in people, but I see where it brings out a lot of times the best in people. I saw people, working and extending that hand to other people that they probably normally wouldn't have. So unfortunately, it does bring out the best and the worst in people. And we can't be naive and think that bad element's not out there, and that bad element's going to somehow turn good during a storm. They're by nature, they're inherently bad people. So they look at storms as opportunities, not as opportunities to improve, but opportunities to be opportunistic and steal stuff that's not yours. So anyway, I mean, if you guys are out there and you have that, especially if you're over closer to New Orleans or Baton Rouge, those are both dumps. I have friends that live over there. I live in Louisiana. They're dumps. No one in the state of Louisiana thinks that Baton Rouge and New Orleans are our flowers of the state. They're dumps. So if you're anywhere near those places, hopefully you guys are watching out and you're prepared, and it doesn't get too out of hand, because I heard that people are evacuating from some of those places, but my guess is New Orleans, this isn't anything near like Katrina was. Those people aren't evacuating, especially the bad ones. They're not evacuating. There will be a lot of Air Jordans and blue jeans that will be stolen over the next 3 days in New Orleans. You watch for the videos. Watch for the videos. They'll be kicking doors in, throwing chairs, bricks, and everything else through doors, and stealing stuff that does not belong to them for the next 2 or 3 days. I would be willing to bet when the sun goes down tonight, the looting will actually start, because evacuations have already started in the Baton Rouge and the New Orleans area. So again, another reason not to leave. Now, I'll never put my family in danger by staying here, but I don't feel like there's any real danger. Flooding is the only real danger we have in this area, and we're good to go. We're pretty high above sea level where my house is, so we're going to be fine. Guys, I'm going to open it up to any questions you all might have. And again, I apologize for getting too close to the camera, but I can't hardly see. I saw that. VD says 400,000 people are going to storm Area 51. Man, I've been seeing that over the last couple of days. That's going to be hilarious. Now, you know how it is. When people are standing around talking smack, drinking a couple of beers, it's easy to say that you're in. You can count on me, but whenever it actually hits the fan, who's going to be there? But good Lord, even if 100,000 people do it, I say do it. Videotape it. I can't wait to see that. I'm not going, but I mean, how awesome would that be? That people that say, I want to see what's at Area 51, we demand to know. I can tell you one thing. I'll bet you that if they go to try to storm the doors of Area 51, the guards at Area 51 are going to step aside and say, "You can go. I'm not shooting. I'm not getting in a firefight over this stuff." So yeah, that ought to be interesting. It ought to be an interesting next few weeks if anything really actually happens with that. This is a good beer. I really like the flavor of this. It's not a real harsh beer. Modelo, it's their Especial cervezas. Yeah, good stuff, man. That's good stuff right there. Um, let's see. Big Mo says, "Are you planning on doing more of the Average Joe training? I'm bummed I can't make the knife one." Yes, we are going to be doing a whole lot more. I suggest you guys definitely check out the Game to Life Center that we're going to be at right across the street from the old Sam's building, the school board building in Lake Charles, Louisiana on Broad Street. We're working with a very close friend of mine, and there's a 7,000 square foot training facility being put up right there. That's going to be an amazing event. That's where we're having the Average Joe training course. We're going to have everything from different types of armors classes, how to take care of your weapons, AR-15s, building AR-15s, doing polymer 80 builds. We're going to do a number of things. So yes, there will be a lot of Average Joe training. Average Joe training is my line of training that I do. I know I try my best not to try to come across as one of these kind of guys online, especially a lot of the guys you see on YouTube who act like they're experts at everything and that they've been to the top of the mountain and, killed it. I'm not like that. I work construction. I do what I have to do from a training standpoint. Everything I do, I approach from an Average Joe standpoint. I'm not trying to be anything more than what I am. I don't need more training than what I need. I just want enough training to keep me prepared and my family safe. That's all I'm looking for. And that's the type of training that I'm going to be putting out, is going to be training that is going to be designed and delivered for Average Joes. No one above that skill set level. If they want to come in, that's fine. It will probably be more of a refresher for them. But it's training that you and I can apply on a daily basis because it's not over the top. I'm trying to stay away from that. I don't expect you to come into my training class and be able to do 150 push-ups without taking a break. It's not what this is about. Conditioning, I think, is important, but at the same time, look, I understand, guys. Kids play baseball, girls dance ballet. I get it. Life goes on. And I'm not sitting here expecting a guy to spend 3 hours a day in the gym. We need to stay in the best physical shape that we can, but whatever we're capable of. And obviously, as we get older, our metabolism slows down, so it's even harder. So my whole thing is I'm not trying to approach this. We don't have superheroes that are going to be in our classes, unless, again, they step down to come to these classes. But they should be very informative classes, and again, very, very useful classes. So I'm excited about that. I'll definitely keep everybody posted. Just for the record, anybody on here who kind of follows me on Facebook, whether it's my personal page or the Legally Armed America page, you're going to find that I've been pretty dormant over the last 12 days. I'm in Facebook jail. Facebook has banished me from using anything that they have for 30 days. August 1st is the soonest that I can do anything. I can't answer messages. I can't like posts. I certainly can't make posts. I can't do any of that because I hurt somebody's feelings on Facebook and they reported me, and of course Facebook doesn't like me, so they put me in, I'm talking Facebook, the brig. They put me in the brig for 30 days. I can do nothing. I can only read what's on Facebook. I can't, like I said, I can't like, dislike, comment, post. I can't even use Messenger. I have people who have messaged me on Messenger. It's a totally different app and I still cannot use it. So if you're trying to reach out to me, I can't. Just email me, paul@legallyarmedamerica.com. Especially if you want to attend our training. The first training class that we're having is edged weapon training. It's not going to be sword fighting or anything like that, but it's going to be practical and real applicable methods in using a knife if you're attacked. Sometimes a knife is better than a gun. Maybe it's way closer quarters. Maybe you haven't gotten to your gun yet and your knife is a little more accessible. That's what this class is going to be. It's going to be a couple of things. It's going to be one, that if somebody comes at you with a knife, the best way to disarm them from having that knife Also, if they come at you with a knife, it's going to be how to predict based on if they're right-handed or left-handed. If they come at you, most people who are attacking you with a knife are untrained, and most people come at you the same way. So it's going to be how to predict their movements and what your second movement would be to pretty much de-knife them at that point, you know, coming across a wrist like that or something. So very interesting. Again, applicable for people like us, the average Joes. It's going to be cool. And I'm going to do some videos on it too. So you guys that aren't going to be in the Lake Charles area can have a chance to take a look at this also. Nick Faruqi, the guy who actually puts it on with S2 Strategic out of Dallas. He's originally from Chicago. He's coming down here to put them on. And he and I are going to spend the day together the day before the actual event. The training course is on Saturday the 27th, and we're going to spend Friday the 26th together and do some training and put together some videos. So looking forward to being able to deliver some of those really cool videos to you guys. That ought to be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Looking more at your comments and questions. Timbo says, I'm in the Baton Rouge area, and I agree. We must be ready. Yeah, you got that right. Not a good idea to swing by. That's true. That's true. Man, stay safe over there, bro. That can be kind of a crappy area right there. I know when I worked for Energy, the electric company that you'd be familiar if you're in Baton Rouge, I was a supervisor for Entergy, and that was one of my offices, a Baton Rouge office, and it was a horrible office. Horrible office. I had terrible employees. I hated the area. Yeah, it was rough. So stay safe over there, man. Let's see. Yeah, Sean says that beer is good. It is good, man. This is a good beer. I don't want this one to get hot. That is good, man. I really like that one. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through your comments, guys. Man, I got to tell you, I'm very happy about a couple of these guns. I'm probably going to try. If it's not gully wash and rain over the weekend, which we're expecting to get, I don't know, 80% chance of rain for 3 days in a row, I'm probably going to try to film some videos on some of these guns. So I'll try to get that out to let you guys see that. I'll probably be documenting. If you want to check on YouTube, Instagram, not Facebook, Twitter, I'll probably be documenting a lot of the hurricane or the it's supposed to be a hurricane by tomorrow. So I'll probably be documenting a lot of that as it comes rolling through. So I'll let you guys, you know, get an inside look if you've never been around one. No, Adam Bird says, does Wyndham Weaponry have shotguns? They do not. Good suggestion, though, because they ought to. They actually are looking into trying to provide a line of handguns, polymer-style handguns. So that might be something kind of interesting. But no shotguns to this point, and I don't think they have any plans to put out shotguns. Hugh Jasper says, do you ask me if I have backup power? Yes, on a small scale, yes. I have a generator, and I can power up part of my house with the generator. I don't have the money to power my whole house like some of these people across the street from me at the country club. They could power up the whole freaking neighborhood with the diesel generators they have built onto these big pads in the back of their houses. I can power up the necessities in my house if I need to. Let's see, Richard Portella says, what kind of construction do you do? I actually am a custom swimming pool builder. I design and build swimming pools in the Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana area. I design them, and I have crews that go out and build them. So that's what I do. That's how I make my money. That's the only way I can afford to buy guns, because guns are not cheap. So that's it. Let's see, guys. Again, read through your stuff. Logan says, what is your opinion of the Springfield XD line? Man, people have differing opinions of the XD lines. I have a few of theirs. I have one of their single stacks, and then I think I have an XD. Maybe it's one of them. When they first came out with Grip Zone, Springfield Armory sent me one of their Grip Zone, I'm pretty sure 9mm. to try out and to do a review on, so I did. I don't have a problem with them. Personally, I don't carry them. While I am a huge fan of a 1911, I'm not a huge fan of grip safeties. And the fact that Springfield puts grip safeties on most of those XDs, just not a fan of that, man. If I'm going to carry a polymer gun, you know, mentally, I'm already prepared that if it's not a 1911, then I know I don't have a grip safety. So if I had to grip it in kind of and here's an unloaded gun, just happens to be sitting right here. This is a Sig P320. If I have an unloaded gun, a gun, then I know that if I'm going to grab a polymer frame gun, I know that I'm not focused on getting my hand here to make sure that I'm engaging that grip safety. I know that. I know that if I come through here and I just go to grab it, that however loosely I grab it or whatever, especially if it's a 9mm like this, then I can do whatever I've got to do without much effort. 1911s, if I'm carrying a 1911, which I haven't carried one in years, I was always conscious whenever I grabbed it, or at least thinking in my head, if you ever do have to engage using it, remember that grip safety's got to be engaged properly. I don't like that. That's just, I don't think that's probably a little too close for you guys there, big ugly face like mine. But yeah, I'm just not, I don't care for that. Again, I have some of their guns, so I'm not impartial to thinking that that's not my thing totally. But yeah, that's not my first choice. I don't see that being effective. I'm guessing, I mean, because I haven't done a whole lot with their line of pistols, do they even make it without the grip safety? I don't know if they do or not. Fast Matrix says, how much did you spend on your P80 all totaled? If you're talking about the Polymer 80, I actually got a really good deal on it from a dealer, but I will tell you probably close to around the $1,000 mark for this thing. Just like you see it. Obviously, I know you can build it for cheaper, but I mean, I got this one to review. A lot of people are talking about Faxon, so I wanted to do a review on that. And honestly, to be really honest with you, I plan on doing some series of building Polymer 80s myself. So I wanted a well-done Polymer 80 to kind of look at. You know what I mean? To see what triggers they used, what barrels, to see how they built it. You know, how did they cut it? Some of the cutaway things that you have to go in and mill out. I wanted to see how they did it. How did they change them? Did they do a little bit different than what Polymer 80 suggests? So I felt like buying a really well-made Polymer 80 complete handgun was the way to go, so that once I do my Polymer 80 series, then I have kind of a guide to go by. You know, I'm not guessing, not making some bad decisions on my end. So yeah, I know that's too much money, but at the same time, it's kind of, I'm using it kind of as a model, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have built some, I mean, go tag us in a post on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see what you guys have done to them. I mean, that's always interesting to me, is to see what everybody else has done. Let's see. Mark Brown says, Paul, do you reload your own ammo? No, I don't. I used to. I have a Dillon 650 press in my garage, and since I got to the point where number one, I don't shoot USPSA as much anymore. I only reloaded for my USPSA shooting because I wanted really consistent loads, but I don't get to shoot as much USPSA anymore, and now I have ammunition sponsors, so I get free ammunition. So I just have my cover over my Dillon 650 in my garage, and I haven't reloaded in probably 2 years. Honestly, I haven't reloaded one round in probably 2 years, easy. So anyway, I miss it to a certain degree, but yeah. Interesting. Jeff says, my Poly 80 is simple, but watch the slide bite. It will get you. Let me see what this one. See, this one seems to be, I will say this mag catch does seem like it requires a little bit more effort. I would probably rather an oversized one. I don't usually like the oversized mag catches because I feel like you run the risk of popping your magazine out when you're shooting. But this one here, it doesn't look like it goes in too much, but there's not a whole lot to get a hold of. But anyway, yeah, probably need an oversized on that. I could see where the slide bite might get you. Maybe not. I don't know. It seems like even if I get too high of a grip, yeah, maybe the slide bite could get you. I don't know if you guys can see that. It might get me. But I'd have to get really, really high. I think my hand is actually staying low enough to where I probably won't get bitten. We'll see, though. I mean, I've been bit a few times before. No One Knows says, what are your opinions on a Derringer for carry? You know, this is not going to be the answer that's popular with a bunch of the big time YouTube guys out there, because they all want to think that they know more than we do, and they really don't. And they tell us what we should have. You will rarely hear me say what you should have, because I pick things that work for me. If a Derringer works for you carrying, carry a Derringer. It doesn't work for me. That's not my gun of choice. I have small enough guns that I could actually carry that are probably slightly bigger than a Derringer, but much smaller than most of my normal carry guns. That if I'm in a pinch and want to throw something in jogging pants pocket or a coat pocket or something like that, I would grab one of those guns, not a Derringer. But with that being said, I'm not sliding a Derringer by any stretch. What works for you, two things have to work. Two things are the most important things, in my opinion, of any gun for any application. Number one, what can you afford? It doesn't make any sense to go in the poorhouse. If you can't pay your light bill because you bought too nice of a gun, that's not a smart decision. If you can't feed your baby or your wife because you bought too nice of a gun, that's not a smart decision. So it starts with budget, first of all. What can you afford? Secondly, it's what you can shoot, what you're comfortable shooting. If you're comfortable shooting that Derringer and you have one, practice with it. Practice with your Derringer and shoot it whenever you need to for concealed carry purposes. That's pretty easy. Training takes the place of a lot of stuff. Yes, there are better guns, obviously. There's better guns out there. This is a better gun if you're in a firefight than a Derringer is. But it's what you have, what you're good at, and what you can afford. That's what matters. I'm so sick of seeing these YouTube guys out there telling people what they should have. You know, that's not right. That's not right. I mean, forcing your opinion on somebody else who may not have the money that you have to buy what you've got. And quite frankly, the ergonomics of one gun is not the same in my hand that it is in somebody else's hand. So it's not fair for me to say this gun fits everybody else perfectly because it fits me perfectly. No, that's a very unfair and very selfish thing to say. Brent says, just got here. We were going to shoot tomorrow, but decided not to. It was a hard decision after all. How often do you get to shoot a competition in tropical storm? Honestly, Brent, I looked at the forecast earlier. Brent is from this area where I'm at also. I know Brent, he's a close personal friend of mine. I looked earlier and I want to say that they're saying the actual rain, you know, the heavy rain from the tropical storm, it's not supposed to get here till about 10 o'clock in the morning. I know you guys used to start about 9, so that one might have been an interesting ending to your cowboy action shooting tomorrow. But anyway, I actually may run out to the range tomorrow if the weather's not too bad and doesn't have a lot of lightning. I'm probably going to go out there because my day is, once it starts raining, it's kind of ruined. I can't work and really nothing else to do. I'll go stir crazy sitting around the house. As long as it's not dangerous conditions, I'll probably be out there. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. My foot is kind of killing me. Like I told you guys earlier, those that might have come in late, broke my foot today. And my foot's kind of throbbing a little bit right now. So I'm going to go grab me a cold beer. I'll let this one get hot. And I'm just going to chill out for the rest of the evening. So guys, hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a safe weekend. If you're anywhere in the South, please be aware of the crazy weather that we have. We're going to have, high winds, a lot of rain, possible storm surges along the coastlines. please be careful. Don't take any chances. You know, it's not worth anything. If you evacuate, get on the road, or even if you just stay home and you're kind of watching over your stuff, make sure you're properly armed. Be aware that looters, whether we want to believe that they exist or not, they are out there and they are coming for your stuff. They just may not pick you. They are planning stuff right now. Not trying to panic anybody. Tell me I'm wrong. Looters loot, right? So just be ready. You know, if you're in a neighborhood that has the potential for getting looted, I wish you guys the best of luck. Please be safe and be smart about whatever you do. Guys, have a great weekend. I will see you all next weekend. Next weekend we'll probably have, I'm trying to work out the details right now, but should have a very interesting live stream next Friday night. We are a sponsor. Legally Armed America is a sponsor of the American flag at a big balloon festival that we have down here. We're like, our show is literally the sponsor of the flag and of the national anthem. Really proud of that, guys. So we're going to be down there for the whole event, for the whole weekend. And what I'm thinking about trying to do, if I can find a way to do it, I think the event people want me to do my live stream like what we're doing now next Friday night from there. So I think they're going to set me up with a backdrop and a little small stage where I can actually film from there and do our live stream from there. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It may not be all totally gun related, because obviously I'll be at a balloon festival, so we'll be talking about some of the things going on there. But it might be kind of fun. It might be a little bit different. Definitely a change of scenery for you guys. So I'm excited about that. So kind of keep an eye out. I'll try to post on Facebook. Well, I can't post on Facebook. I'll try to post on Instagram and YouTube, whatever we decide to do and whatever time we're going to decide to do it. And hopefully you guys can join us if we do. So guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you all next weekend. Thanks, guys.